And we're very pleased to be joined in the studio by Michael Shvo, who is the president of Shvo. It's a real estate marketing firm with an office here in Dubai as well as New York. Michael, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Brandy.
You're in Dubai for Cityscape on behalf of W Hotels, touting their latest property in New York, also speaking at the conference as well, very much on the marketing and the branding side. With the financial fallout that we're seeing at the moment, with the worry about getting bank lending, about what's going to happen further to property prices, is marketing and branding and spinning a property becoming more important?
I think it's always been important, but as you talk about the meltdown over the world, I think consumers in markets are really getting a lot more cautious with their money. In markets, as we're seeing financial markets and real estate markets to follow, where there is a higher risk, people are more drawn into the blue chip of either property or blue chip of stock. Consumers today are looking to purchase property that is an irreplaceable property. I mean, if you look here in the UAE, if you look at the Burj Dubai, I've been speaking to somebody yesterday. Even at the high prices today, it probably still makes sense purchasing that because it's a building that is an irreplaceable building. That's what we specialize in, is creating those irreplaceable experiences. You know, we're here, as you said, with W New York, and we're seeing today a surge of money coming out of the UAE to other markets, as the UAE market has increased tremendously, and other markets, be it the UK or the US market, that has dropped in prices, and people now are looking at it as an opportunity.
Are you out here with your New York property because you see a greater chance of getting the money, getting the investors from this part of the world than from the States?
I think that there's definitely more money in the UAE and in the GCC altogether looking to invest in real estate than there is in the States. There's no question about it. The sentiment in the state today is not as it was a year ago or as it was 6 months ago. Though, as I said, with the price difference, you're seeing a good reasoning for people to take money out of this market and invest in foreign markets.
You're going to be talking at Cityscape. What is your message going to be?
I mean, again, I think that we're looking at branded real estate, marketing real estate, and really the importance today more than ever creating product that's unique, giving the purchasers and giving the investors a true reason to purchase one property over the other. Because as the market gets saturated, particularly in the Dubai market, I visited Cityscape yesterday. I mean, tremendous amount of booths. They're getting larger in numbers, larger in size, and people now have options, and they will make that choice between one product to the other. And how do you really sway the investors and the buyers and the end users to buy your property as a developer as opposed to somebody else's?
You've just mentioned the word unique there. Just a moment ago you talked about a unique and irreplaceable building. You see the market as becoming more, not exactly fragmented, but perhaps segmented, that there is good property, there is bad property. Define the two.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you have a mature market in every segment, be it cars, be it watches, be it any other luxury brand. People are willing to shell out more money and pay more when you're giving them a unique product. So when you look at unique property, I mean, in the UAE, if you want to talk UAE in particular, the developer itself, the delivery, the product, the value of the product, and really something that's irreplaceable. So as I mentioned, the Burj Dubai, that is something that will not be built, at least in the near future, a building of that scale and of that size. There's always going to be somebody willing to write a check, no matter what the price is, in order to be in the tallest building in the world.
But if you look at the adverts and the publicity coming out of virtually every developer, they see that their building or their complex is unique, that it's got this wonderful lifestyle that you can't attain anywhere else. It is hard, I think, for people who are looking at the market to distinguish between the genuinely different products that will last in a tough time, in a tough market, and those which just say that they're unique. Just define what you would see as being some of the properties and characteristics of the good sector of the market.
I mean, you look at good sector of the market, obviously location is key. Especially, Dubai is creating a lot of new locations, so it's much harder in this region to actually decide what is a good location. But in mature markets, locations that have easy transportation, that are central, that have good infrastructure, that have the good mix of office and residential are normally key locations. You're looking at the quality of construction, which we've discussed. We've seen a lot of product in this part of the world and other parts of the world where the quality is not up to par, and that really has to do with the development and who that developer is. I think it's very important that a consumer today buying property possibly has the opportunity to see other product from that same developer, because there is this huge in every market there's this huge promise. Everybody thinks that their product is the best, the tallest, the greatest, the everything that ends with an EST kind of, it's the biggest. But in the end of the day, the delivery on the promise doesn't really happen in a lot of these cases. So
very hard. I mean, you maybe in the business can actually sort of, you hear the sort of the scuttlebutt and you know what's going on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Difficult for the average buyer to find out. What falls into the bad and do not touch category?
I mean, I would never recommend to anybody invest money in anything that they know that they could buy from somebody next door. And that being said,
what do you mean by that?
I'll explain. If you're buying a bottle of water, as I have standing here before me, and this bottle of water you're paying $1, and you can buy the same bottle of water from somebody next door for 90 cents, then there's no real reason for you to buy the bottle of water. But if you're buying now bottle of water from Fiji, or has a great bottle of water, you're going to pay $2 for that bottle of water because there's something about that water that you can't buy anywhere else. Same thing with property. If you're buying a piece of property that you know that you can walk to the stand next door and buy an identical property, and you're only competing on price, you're in a very, very dangerous zone, because when markets get tough, the ordinary properties, the cookie-cutter apartments, things that have nothing really unique about them, that they're purely competing on price, those properties are the first ones to go. That's normally the middle of the market properties that are, people are just kind of, popping up every 3 months, every 60 days. You see a lot of this happen in this region as well. If you think that this property, the only reason that you're buying it is because it's a few dirham cheaper per square foot from the guy next door, that is the first type of property that will go down if the market takes a turn.
Well, certainly uniqueness is not a problem with the property, the development that you are going to be espousing here in Dubai. It's the W Hotel condominiums, very swanky real estate indeed. However, is it the right time to be launching swanky top-end real estate?
Well, I think we're talking about New York market, and as I said earlier, if you're looking to purchase, to diversify your portfolio, the first place you're going to go is to major capitals. If it's New York, if it's London, if it's Tokyo, you're going to put your money where there is a long-term history of price increases, regardless of what the market is. You're not going to get the returns you've been seeing in Dubai, but with returns, obviously, there's a huge risk that comes. That risk does not exist in cities like New York and London. I mean, we truly believe that if you can buy property in New York, as you can today at the W downtown, cheaper than a lot of the properties that you will buy here in Dubai, people are looking to put that money there. They are also following what the government is doing. I read last night, I think at Gulf News, that a lot of the sovereign funds are looking to put big numbers right now in the U.S. property market. They've already purchased parts of the General Motors building, part of the Chrysler building, a big stake in Citibank. So we are seeing money from this region investing heavily in the U.S. property market, and I think the smaller investors, the ones on the street, are going to follow the sovereign funds trend here.
Michael Shvo, the president of Shvo, real estate marketing firm, thank you very much for your time this morning.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.